What's the value of freedom? First question. What's the value of freedom?
Mom, there's no value.
No value. It's invaluable.
Yes, mom.
Okay. Why so?
Mom, because freedom cannot be purchased.
Okay. It's not a material thing. But is it that everyone wants freedom? When
Yeah.
you feed a bird or a dog, aren't they happy?
Have had freedom
Hmm.
to have previously experienced what it is.
Okay. They may not be happy. All right. But if a creature is born in captivity, perhaps the creature might be happy. That's what you mean to say? Okay. Through this poem, the poet is trying to tell us about how a tiger feels when it is in the zoo. So it says that he stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage, on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. He stalks in his vivid stripes, means vivid stripes is beautiful. Tiger has stripes, beautiful, clear, beautiful stripes on its skin. He stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage. His cage is small. He just, he covers the entire cage in just a few steps. On pads of velvet quiet, his paws are very velvety. They are very soft. Why are they soft?
Because it's also like
Huh?
sound.
Yes, it can walk without sound. That's why naturally it has padded paws. So when it walks through the long grass, it does not make sound. It can reach its prey really close before taking that jump. So that's why it has soft paws. So on pads of velvet, quiet in his quiet rage. Quiet rage is an oxymoron. Quiet, बहुत शांत, rage, बहुत ज़्यादा गुस्सा. The two are बिल्कुल opposite in meanings. So hence the poetic device quiet rage. That's an oxymoron, and the poet is trying to convey that the tiger is really angry, but he is not showing any anger. It is not roaring, it is not screaming, it is not banging his paws on the bars of the prison. He's doing nothing. He's quietly walking. Just any dignified person would do, right? A person with dignity does not scream, does not beg, does not shout. It just deals with whatever is there. And that's the same way the tiger is doing here. He should be lurking in the shadows, standing through long grass, near the water hole where the plump deer pass. The poet tells us what this tiger should actually be doing. The tiger should actually be living in the jungle, lurking in the shadows, hiding somewhere in the shadows, you know, lurking, moving around, sliding through long grass. Because in long grass, tiger stripes camouflage it, right? And it should be lurking near the water hole. Water bodies are the best places for best hunting grounds for these predators. So whenever a creature comes to drink water, it is easier because the creature is busy, bowing his head down to the water body and drinking water. So that is why it says he should be lurking in the shadows, sliding through long grass near the water hole where the plump deer pass. Where the plump deer is about to come to drink water, tiger should be there so that it can get its food, it can hunt, it can enjoy hunting. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. In the next stanza, the poet tells us about that he should be snarling around houses. The houses, the villages which are at the edge of the jungle, people who are living at the edge of the jungle, he should be snarling around them. He should be terrorizing the villagers, should be baring his white fangs, his claws, you know, he should be showing his power, his might to the people. But here he is behind the bars. He's quietly locked behind the bars. So the third stanza talks about what the tiger should be doing. What is the natural behavior of the tiger? But he's locked in a concrete cell. Okay, before I move to the next one, he should be lurking in the shadow, sliding through long grass. He should be lurking in the shadow. Can someone tell me the poetic device used in this line? So if you don't have your books. Hmm? Personification. For the tiger, the poet is using he. He should be lurking in the shadow. So he is personified here. The tiger is personified as a person, what he should be doing. Where the plump deer pass. What's the poetic device in this one? No. Alliteration. Plump deer pass. PP. The same sound is repeated. Similarly, he should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. Do you find any poetic devices in these? Snarling, is that a poetic device? Onomatopoeia. That's a good one. Baring his white fangs, his claws. It's a kind of repetition. His white fangs, his claws. The poet is repeating. But he is clocked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. In the fourth stanza, the poet tells us that he's locked in a concrete cell. It's a strong cell. It has concrete walls. His strength is locked behind the bars. He is imprisoned in the cage, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. He does not look at the visitors. He does not terrorize them. He is not a performer who is set to do a show for the visitors. So he simply ignores them. He knows he can't do anything. He cannot fight his way out of these bars. He cannot, free himself from this concrete cell. But he is very angry because he is behind the bars. His freedom is being taken away from him. Behind bars is example of alliteration again.
Mom,
Concrete cell. There are
mom,
two
in the second stanza, he should be lurking in shadow. Can that be the imagery?
Yes, that's also an example of imagery. Should be lurking in the shadow. Okay, back to this. His strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage. He ignores visitors. He cannot do anything. He cannot harm them. He cannot hunt them. He cannot free himself from it. So he hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. So this tiger, the last voice he hears at night is that of the patrolling cars. The patrolling cars which are taking round around the zoo. And stares with his brilliant eyes, with his brilliant, bright eyes. He stares at the brilliant stars that maybe one day he will be free. Maybe one day he'll be back to his jungle, back to his home, and he'll be free to roam around, free to hunt, free to relax, and free to laze around whatever he wants to do. So that's the poem by Leslie Norris. It tells us how animals feel in captivity, right? And at the same time, it also tells us whether and that this captivity, this imprisonment is not liked even by the animals. So if you have any thoughts of making anybody slave, be sure that the person or the animal will try his or her best to move out to get that freedom. That's more important than anything else. Okay, one question to all of you. We go to zoos, we visit zoos in many places, we see animals, birds, different kinds of creatures, and we feel happy looking at them. Do you think these zoos should exist?
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
Because they protect animals.
They?
Protect animals.
How?
Because if they are not in zoos, they are jungle land and just begin. Zoos are made for the purpose so that they don't exist. Although they don't exist. Yes, animals should be like tigers and lions.
Right. Okay. So that's one thing.
जो भी बड़ा होना चाहिए जो भी नाम बड़ा होना चाहिए
Sanctuaries and national parks aren't a better option instead of zoos. So why should we have zoos? Zoo is a very protected environment, okay, where every creature is made to live in a small concrete cell, concrete or maybe iron bars or whatever they make, right? But end of the day, they are imprisoned. They cannot move. They cannot interact with other creatures. And most importantly, all these predators, they forget about hunting. A tiger or a lion or any other predator for that matter who is born in a zoo, and if it is left in the wild, it cannot survive. It just don't know the survival skills of the jungle. Even a lion coming out of the zoo becomes the food for wolves and vultures. Not vultures, wolves and eagles. Just because it has never hunted. It has always been provided with food. So that is why living in sanctuary is much better than living in zoos. And as for us, I think we can have plenty of other entertainment options. Isn't it? We don't need to see animals in captivity to entertain ourselves. Do we, Rudraj?
No.
Okay. Fine. I think that's all about the poem.